And now, Mike's thoughts.
There always comes a time and a place in the world where you got to do whatever you got to do to get to a Kansas City Chiefs game. You got to do what you got to do to get to the promised land and root on for your Kansas City Chiefs. And guys, that's exactly what Chiefs-aholic did for the last several years. As you guys remember, a couple years ago, Chiefs-aholic was officially arrested for robbing some banks down in Oklahoma City to make it the Kansas City Chiefs game. This guy has now been officially charged with 11 robberies, and he's going to get 17.5 years in jail with the robberies. 17.5 years for robbing some banks, to getting some money to get front row tickets to go to the Kansas City Chiefs game. Do I blame the guy? No, I would do the same thing. If I wanted to go to the Kansas City Chiefs game, wear my damn wolf costume, I'm going to wear the wolf costume, go into the banks, and rob the banks for the last 5 or 6 years. If I don't get caught the first time, I'm going to do it a second time, I'm going to do it a third time, I'm going to do it 11 times. I am going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs game. And that's exactly what Chiefs-aholic did. 17.5 years, probably get cut down about 10, with good behavior and like all that stuff. But I wonder, after his 10 years is served, 12 years, whatever it might be, it's going to be what, 40-ish? Kansas City Chiefs may not be on top anymore. They may be this great scrape of the barrel again, like they did in this, just 20 years ago, right? Does Chiefs-aholic come back to the Kansas City Chiefs games? Does he still wear the wolf costume? Does he still get out there? Does he still represent the boys, even though he's been behind bars and got arrested for doing that? I wonder. But what do you guys think? Is 17 years for robbing a few banks to go to Chiefs games? Is 17 years too much? It's too much? I don't know. I think it's a little. I think it's a little excessive myself. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw, steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest, nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeister back from the dead. I was down with the sickness. Still am. Still fighting those allergies. They're still trying to fight that battle. I said, Sudafed, back me up. I said, NyQuil, back me up. I said, Flonase, back me up. They're like, we can't help you, Buck. You just got to sit in bed and you got to rest. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 days. I've been sitting in bed. I've been resting, feeling a hell of a lot better. NFL football season's here, guys. Kickoff tonight. We got the Ravens versus the Chiefs. That makes me feel even better. But before we get too carried away to today's show, we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself. We have to welcome the CFO of the Pigskin Pundits, the first ever Pigskin Pundit, and that is Mr. Jim Powell. He says Chiefs-aholic is going to have to learn how to eat a banana sideways, not to entice others into thinking ill thoughts, and he doesn't have to cheat on his cousin. Typical Raiders fan, always got to go that route, but my man Jim is in the chat. What's up, Jim? What's up, Jim? Also got John Peoples is in the chat. He says, Ravens are whooping that ass tonight. John says, bring that ass over here, boy. Let me spank you like a bad, bad boy that you've been. Ravens whooping that ass, Chiefs out tonight. I don't know. But Laura thinks the same thing. Ravens going to whoop that ass tonight as well, she says. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Y'all be jumping on this Ravens bandwagon. You don't even know why. The only reason why you're doing that. Look at it, that flag right there. Chiefs Kingdom. I got the back-to-back Super Bowl flag on the way from Papa Buck. Picked me up in Kansas City the other day. He'll be down probably next week or 2 weeks or so. Whenever I'm back from vacation. Bada bing, bada boom. It is. And Laura says, it is not enough time. He should get life. Just saying. It's not because I don't like KC. It's because you don't steal. Listen, stealing is wrong. But let's just be honest. He was just borrowing the money. It's not like he was keeping it. He was borrowing it to barter to get tickets into the game. I mean, he was just borrowing it. Laura, that's all he was doing. He was just borrowing. Eventually, the bank got it back. He's going to write a book. He's going to pay them all back. But it is what it is. And Jim says, Naples is great. Thanks for asking. Well, Jim, I meant to ask you, but I've been sick. So, Jim, how was Naples? It was great. Well, good. Thank you for bringing that up, Jim. Jim was on vacation learning how to be a CFO of his own company down there in Naples, Florida. Jim be doing big things, guys. Look out for it. Maybe we'll give him a little commercial here on the Man Hour, Give him some publicity. Got Frank Glaze in the chat today as well. He says hi. Hi, Frank. Go Colts this weekend. Whoop those Texans' ass. We'll be talking about much more of that on Friday. And Saturday, Man Hour After Dark is coming like as well. But Laura says, whoa, Buck, listen. Laura says she loves her Vikings, but I wouldn't go to that extreme. Laura says, I love my Vikings. I want to go to every game, but I'm not going to rob a bank. I'm not going to dress up in a Vikings uniform. I'm not going to go be sitting front row every home game, every road game. I'm not going to that extreme. Not going to do it. Me neither. I love my freedom a little bit too much, to be honest, to even think about hell. Like sometimes I'm afraid to do like even speed. I'm not going to incriminate myself, but when the wife and kids are sleeping, I put a little pedal to the metal and get there a little bit faster. But I'm always like, where's that cop? Where's that cop? Right? Pepe's in the chat as well. Good afternoon, Pepe. He says Ravens are worried about regular season games. Tell you the difference between them and the Chiefs. And that's exactly where I want to start today, Pepe. That's exactly where I want to start on this beautiful NFL opening night. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Baltimore Ravens, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And the talk all week, all offseason, since this game was put on the schedule, week number 1, it was all about Lamar Jackson versus the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes versus the Baltimore Ravens. Who needs this game more? Is this bigger for this game? Is it bigger for that game? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I got to ask you guys this question right now, right off the bat. Let's start off the season right. Week number 1, game 1 of the 2024 NFL season. Who needs this game more? When we look at the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens, who needs this game more? And I'm going to tell you, I think it is the Baltimore Ravens that need this game more. I think the Baltimore Ravens season all kind of hinges on this one game, right? I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be just fine all season long. They lost last year to the Detroit Lions. Opening day, John gave me hell for it for 10, 15 days. It was great. It was magical. The Chiefs kind of fluttered around, kind of like, oh, this team's not very good. Yada, yada, yada. What happens? They win a Super Bowl. Back-to-back Super Bowls, right? The Baltimore Ravens hinge on regular season games more than anybody else out there. Why? Because they know they're going to shit the bed when it comes playoff time. They know it comes wild card weekend, divisional weekend, whatever game they play first, they're going to shit the bed. It is what it is. So I think the Ravens need this game more. They need to put this feather in their cap a little bit more. They need to go out there and they need to be like, look, we beat the defending Super Bowl champions. We beat them then, we can beat them later, right? The Ravens, they are banking their whole season off this one game. Kansas City Chiefs, they are not. They're not. They don't care. As long as the Chiefs remind me of the Lakers back when Kobe and Shaq were there, right? Long as we make it to the playoffs, let's turn on that switch and bada bing, bada boom, to the moon, baby. And really, you look at the West sucks. The AFC West is terrible. The worst division in football. I'm telling you what it is. They're the worst division in football. Raiders, 5-win team. Broncos, 4-win team. Chargers might get 6. Kansas City Chiefs can win the division with a 7-11 record this season. Or 7-10 record, I'm sorry. They could be a losing team and still win the division and still probably go back to the Super Bowl and still be Super Bowl favorites. Ravens, we'll be talking about this later in the show. They have a really good possibility of not making the playoffs this season. The Ravens need all of these wins that they can get, especially early. Because when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they bank on regular season. They bank on 12, 13 wins. That's what all Harbaugh is all about. Harbaugh and Marvin Lewis are cut from the same cloth. Let's just worry about getting into the playoffs, and whatever happens, right? As long as we're making the playoffs, my job is safe. Like, that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel that the Baltimore Ravens are right now. So answer the question, guys. Who needs this game more? Is it the Chiefs or the Ravens? I'm not asking who wins. We'll ask that later in the show. But who needs this game more? I think the Ravens need the game more. I really, truly, deep down think that the Baltimore Ravens have to get off to a hot start this NFL season. Derrick Henry has to get the tote. Has to tote that rock over and over and over. Zay Flowers and the rest of that receiving cord needs to perform versus a pretty good defense. Kansas City Chiefs, they have a lot of room to grow. Young receiver core. Defense is still pretty good. Patrick Mahomes is obviously the greatest of all time. They'll be fine. Ravens, do it now or never. Do it now or never. Casey Morgan's in the chat, and he says, I cannot wait for the game tonight. Casey, I can't either, but unfortunately, I got to coach some damn kids. Hopefully win a game versus our arch rival tonight. New Albany Bulldogs. Going to beat that ass, but I'll have the game on pause. I'll have the game on, actually, I'm recording it. If Cindy watches it before I get home, ooh, bad baby. But I can't, I am with you on that 100%, Casey. But if you guys are a pigskin pundit like Casey, John, and Jim are, you guys can head over to our Facebook page tonight. You can watch the game live. You can talk all that shit that you want. It is always nice fun bantering back and forth and watching the football game, but it's going to be a pigskin pundit. We are going to be behind the paywall. We don't want to get shut down or anything like we did on YouTube for that one week or 2 weeks or whatever it was. So guys, feel free to come over to Facebook.com, click on the subscribe button, become a pigskin pundit. It's $4.99 a month. Gets you access to any game that you want to watch. If you are a Raiders fan and you live in Detroit and you don't get the Raiders fans, you want to watch the Raiders game, I got you. I got you, big dog. By the way, you get free entry into the $2,000 giveaway into the NFL Pick'em. That's happening. If you're a pigskin pundit, that's free. Get in there, win those bills, y'all. Plus, you get some free merch. We got this nice little long sleeve NFL man hour long sleeve tee, and mine finally just came in today. But the rest of the picks and pundits already got theirs. You get free merch every other quarter. So be like Casey, be like John. Laura says, let's go purple. Which purple you rooting for? John says, Derrick Henry gets 150 yards and 2 tutties tonight. Listen, I don't know if Derrick Henry is going to go off this season, guys, to be honest. Because when you look at Derrick Henry, we've been kind of saying it for the last couple of seasons. We've been kind of saying that, hey, he has kind of towed that line. Father Time is undefeated. And look at the past, 27 Ravens running backs. Have any of them finished a full season? I'm not wishing injury. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Simple fact of the matter is the Baltimore Ravens go through running backs like they're sliced bread. Oh, that one's bad. That one's bad. Oh, a little bit more. Boop, boop. Last season, they went through like 6, right? 6 of them. 6 of them. But I think Derrick Henry will play a full season, and I think he'll be effective. I don't see 150 yards by any stretch of the imagination. I think he'll get a share of carries, 15 carries maybe. Justice Hill is going to get a few carries tonight as well. Looking down the road, Keaton Mitchell, that rookie that kind of came on late last season, he'll kind of tote the rock a little bit as well. Honestly, I don't anticipate Derrick Henry getting more than 12 carries past about week 4, right? Each week about 12 to 13 carries tops. Spread it out evenly. Keep everybody fresh until playoffs if they make the playoffs. But tonight, 150 yards, 2 tutties. I don't know. The good thing about early season football games is you never know what's going to happen. You truly, deep down, don't know what is going to happen. But one thing you can rely on is defense is usually going to come out and flying around the ball and popping people. Defense is a lot easier to learn than offense. It takes time for offense to gel. Takes time for offense to really get the kinks out of it, right? The ins and outs, whatever. But there is only one way you can run the ball, and that is downhill, right? You can run you can run the ball downhill a lot, and I don't think 150 yards is in it for Derrick Henry tonight. Casey thinks the Ravens need it more, and I concur. John says Kansas City needs it more. John, why does Kansas City need it more? And then Jim comes out and says, Kansas City will be horrible the first 6 weeks stopping anyone. They will score points, but don't get good at stopping the points until midseason. Exactly. So the last, I say 3 seasons, right? Ever since Steve Spagnuolo has been the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, weeks 1 through 7 are pretty bad on the defensive side of the ball. Let's just be flat honest. They're not very good. Last season, they kind of kept that momentum all season long, but historically, weeks 1 through 7, they're not very good. Defense turns it on a big time, week 9 through 17 into 18 going into the playoffs. So this tells me that the Kansas City Chiefs don't need this game at all. This is kind of just a throwaway game for the Kansas City Chiefs, to be honest. But if I'm a Chiefs fan, I want them to run it up on the Ravens. I want them to punch it in the Ravens' face over and over and over again. My man, 60075 is in the chat as well. Welcome, my man. He says, I think the Ravens win. Chiefs technically need it more. They're home, and they lost last season home opener too. The end of the day, I don't think the game means all that much. Exactly. My man, I think you get the comment of the day. Because honestly, in a 17-game NFL season, you have a throwaway game. You have a game where you're kind of like, whatever, it is what it is. Now, I do think this game will determine a tiebreaker into the playoffs ultimately. I do think that this game will determine the first overall seed in the AFC months down the road. But in all reality, this game is kind of a throwaway game. Like, it kind of is. Yes, it's great for the fans to hoop, holler, and get excited about. Yes, it's good for the Baltimore Ravens fans to hoop and holler and say, oh, we beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It's great for the Chiefs fan to, oh, we beat the Baltimore Ravens. It's great bragging rights, great trash talk. But in the end, both of these teams will be hell of a lot different come playoff time. Hell, in October, they're going to be a hell of a lot different. In November, different. December, different. Technically, this is the worst that we should see the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens all season long. Technically. Will that be the case? We will see. Pepe is saying, if Derrick Henry gets stopped and the Ravens lose, they're going to be shook all season long. And that is one of the reasons why I think the Baltimore Ravens need this game more, is to get off on that positive foot, right? We're going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles later in today's show, pending time, but it is all about the momentum, and I think the Ravens need that momentum earlier because they've had so many offensive changes. New offensive coordinator, new running back. Hey, we got punched in the mouth last year. They definitely need that momentum going into this season. John says, you buying a Lamar jersey when they lose. I'm not buying a Lamar Jackson jersey. I will never buy a Lamar Jackson jersey. I do not buy overrated players' jerseys. That's just the way it is, John. I don't think so. My man says, I don't think so. Honestly, losing to the defending Super Bowl champions week 1 wouldn't have that much an effect. I think they lose 2 in a row, they would be shook. But 1 loss to the Chiefs won't be bad. So my man over here at YouTube also brings up a really good point. Losing week 1, probably not that big a deal. But if the Ravens stew on it for 10 days, then they back home, and then they lose to the Raiders week number 2, then we're probably singing a totally different tune. And I think you are right, my man. I think you are right. I mean, obviously losing to the defending Super Bowl champs, yes, they're the Super Bowl champs. We're supposed to lose, whatever, right? But then week number 2, you lose to the Raiders, start the season off 0-2, and then travel to Dallas, and then you have the Bills and Bengals the next 3 weeks. It could get rough really, really quick. So I think the Ravens still need this game more. They need to win more, but most importantly, they need to play well. Not necessarily a win-loss thing, but they need to play well. They need to look good. They need to look fluid. They need to look, better than other teams out there. And I'm not for sure if they're prepared for that. I'm not for sure if they're ready for Arrowhead. Marvin Lewis is in Vegas. Okay. Laura says the Ravens need it more. Pepe says the Ravens will spend all year knowing they can't do shit when they play the Chiefs. So I do believe they're going to be shook all season long. And WB It is in the chat. My resident Ravens fan and everydayer here is like Laura, John, and Jim. And Pepe as well. He says, I got to want to say one thing. It doesn't say good morning, good afternoon. How have you been? Hope you're feeling better. Right out the boat, he pulls out the guns, says, F the Chiefs. Pew, pew. Puts those guns back away. Ant bringing out the heat today. And you know what, Ant? I respect that. I respect that. Say it with your chest. But he says, in all honesty, slow it down, baby. Much respect to them. It's going to be a great game. I think it should be a great game. I agree. 100% it should be a great game. But opening week number 1. I think in Kansas City, Missouri today, right now is 97 degrees. It's hot. You're going to cramp. Yes, it's week 1. You should be healthy, but let's just be honest. Training camp aches and pains are there. You're just ready to get out on the field. To whatever we expect to happen is probably not going to happen. Let's just be honest. Hell, it could even be a blowout for all I care. Blanca's in the chat. She says, "Go Chiefs!" Yes, right there, Chiefs Kingdom. James Frank's in the chat as well. Good morning or good afternoon, James. Just got out of work. There's NFL ball on tonight. Tomorrow's college ball. Saturday and football Sunday, Monday. Life is good. Yes, we have football. Well, we have football tonight. NFL tomorrow. College football Saturday. NFL Sunday. Monday Night Football. 5 days of football nonstop. Let's go. And Jex Facts 881 says Ravens will hit a lot of home runs tonight. I don't think so. If the Ravens hit a lot of home runs this week number 1, their offense is going to start banking on that. So that is going to be bad for the Baltimore Ravens. Granted, home runs are going to happen. There is going to be lapses in defense. At the end of the day, Lamar Jackson is a really good athlete. Let's just call it what it is. He's really, really good. But to say that they're going to hit a lot of home runs, if that is the case, that is bad news bears for the Baltimore Ravens for the rest of the season. Because now fans, analysts, the team is going to start to expect that. They're going to expect to give the ball to Derrick Henry and him break it off for 60 yards. They're going to expect Lamar Jackson to scramble and rush for 40 yards untouched. They're going to start to expect that, and that's not what the Ravens' MO is, I think. I think the Ravens' MO is drive it down your throat, nickel and dime it down the field until, they get tired and I guess we can score now. That's the ultimate Baltimore Ravens offense. That's why their defense is going to be so good this season. That's why their defense is going to be probably number one in the NFL, because they're not going to be playing very many snaps. If the Ravens win this game tonight, they're going to control the clock 45 minutes, 40 minutes. It is going to be a time possession game. And I think the Ravens win it if they do win the time possession of game. Alrighty. Catch up on the chat here. Week number 1, because Carolina could beat Kansas City in week 1. Carolina's going to beat Kansas City week 13, whatever it is, John. You know that. Sorry about that, guys. These allergies are kicking my butt. Sudafed's not working. Flonase isn't working. So sometimes I just got to mute it and just got to let it out. WBN says, thank God Greg Roman isn't there anymore. He would run the F out of Henry. Monken, on the other hand, won't force to feed him. 12 to 15 carries is enough, like you said, Buck. And I even think with Greg Roman there, 12 to 15 carries would be about what Derrick Henry would get, because you still got Justice Hill, right? You still got Keaton Mitchell after he comes back. I think they're expecting like week 7, week 8 off of that ACL, right? You have a lot of horses in the stable. Yes, Derrick Henry might be your stud, but sometimes the young bucks got to get off too. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Playoffs are going to run through Vegas. Nope. And Jim says Lamar is Dak of the AFC. He will smoke the secondary, especially since the cheating prick Snead went to Tennessee. Listen, Lamar Jackson is a top quarterback in the NFL. Dak Prescott's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. They both do not perform during playoffs. That's their biggest downfall, both of those players. That's the biggest downfall. Let's just be honest. Pepe says, it's a must-win game. The Chiefs would beat the Ravens, even if the game was on the moon. Not wrong. So Pepe says the Chiefs will be, you know what? It is what it is. It's a preseason game for us. This is a final tune-up game for the rest of the season for us. But nut crunch time, playoffs, make it into the playoffs, AFC championship game. Right there. Kansas City Chiefs all day long, said Pepe. And says, yeah, the Chiefs will regret letting go of Snead. They will miss him. Dude was arguably a top 5 cornerback in the league. And I agree. Honestly, when I saw Snead was not like negotiating with the Chiefs and then went to the Titans, I'm like, ugh. Can we ever just keep a player? But when you are great, right? When your team is great players, air quotes there, they start to shine and teams start to overplay for players that are great on that team. A lot of times when those players leave, the system, the players around them was what makes them great. And you go to a bad team. Well, we'll see if Snead was actually a top 5 cornerback in the league or not when he goes to the Tennessee Titans this season. Hutch, what about Hutch? James says, go Chiefs. As a Browns fan, he's saying, go Chiefs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And go Cowboys on Sunday. Ooh. Laura says, whoever wins the night regardless is going to be a good game. It's the first game of the season. Now, let's not get our expectations too high, guys. The first game of the season is always filled with miscues. Always filled with sloppy play. Always filled with cramps and injuries and lagging injuries, etc. It is just the nature of the beast. It's just the nature of the beast come week 1, especially game 1, week 1, 97 degrees outside. Only game on TV. There's going to be nerves. There's going to be cramps. There's going to be a lot of miscues, a lot of sloppy play. Let's just slow it down. But I think it's going to be a good game. Should be a good game. John says he's going back to work and he's picking the Ravens 34-27. I'm picking the Chiefs 21-10. I like the Chiefs in this one, 21-10. Pepe says the Chiefs' offense is better this year than the last 3 years. They won 2 Super Bowls. during that time. So if Derrick Henry doesn't make a difference, then what do you tell yourself you are a Ravens player? And you can speak of this, as a Ravens fan, I feel like the Ravens have always kind of been just on the cusp, just on the cusp. When we look at the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson been in the league for 4 years now, 5 years. Every year it's been, we need another receiver. Go out and get a receiver. Our defense isn't very good. Top 5 defense the next year, right? Boom. We need some more offensive firepower. Boom. New offensive coordinator, right? We need another running back. Boom. Derrick Henry. Now, at this point, I don't think Lamar Jackson is the bad piece in the mix. I don't think the defense is the bad piece. I don't think the receiving core is the bad piece. I don't think the running back room is the bad piece. What it comes down to is the one thing you have not changed yet. You have not changed Coach Harbaugh. So I personally think, as of right now, September 5th, 2024, 3 o'clock or 3:01 here on the East Coast time, I think John Harbaugh is officially on the hot seat on Baltimore. I think if the Baltimore Ravens do not win a playoff game this season, make it to the AFC Championship game, John Harbaugh is probably out to Baltimore. I think Harbaugh is on the hottest seat of all. Yes, they have gone to the playoffs. Yes, they have 12, 13 wins. But at some point, when do you just get tired of just being just good enough getting to the playoffs? Yes, I understood it took the Bengals 15 years to understand it with Marvin Lewis, right? It's going to take the Dallas Cowboys probably another 5 years to understand that, hey, this is not working. But I think the Ravens' Super Bowl window is rapidly closing with Lamar Jackson. And if they don't make it to an AFC Championship game this year, make it to a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, Harbaugh has got to be gone. As a Ravens fan, analyst, whatever you want to say it, the Baltimore Ravens group of people that like the Baltimore Ravens, need to be screaming for Harbaugh's head if they do not make it to the AFC Championship game this season. Keaton Mitchell is very nice, James. I agree. Texas Repo's in the chat. He says, CJ Stroud, we want the Chiefs. Texas Repo, I got something for you. Here on Tuesday, guys, usually on Tuesdays, today is what? Thursday. So we're going to do Overreaction Tuesday on a Thursday. Every Tuesday here on Man Hour, we do Overreaction. We square the old... We scour the old interwebs. We do some little troll work, and we see what the people are talking about. So on this Overreaction Tuesday, on a Thursday, we are going to go from first to worst. We are going to talk about the teams that have been on top of the NFL landscape last season. We are going to talk about what teams that potentially go from first place into last place in the division. So with that being said, let me pull up my stats here because of some reason the thing wanted to reset here. On this Overreaction Tuesday, on a Thursday, we are going to look at the standings from last season. We're going to go look at through all of the 2023 NFL season and teams that could potentially go from first place into last place. So obviously last season, guys, in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills won the division with 11-6. Epic collapse by the Miami Dolphins toward the end of the season. All they had to win was one game. Buffalo Bills, all they had to do was lose one game. None of that happened. Bills gone like on top. Baltimore Ravens win the NFC North by 2 games by winning 13-4 last season. The Houston Texans, your Houston Texans, Texas Repo, went 10-7 last season to win the AFC South. The Chiefs won the AFC West with 11-6 record. The Dallas Cowboys 12-5 with the NFC East. The Detroit Lions 12-5 for the NFC North. The Buccaneers 9-8, getting the tiebreaker over the New Orleans Saints, giving them the NFC South crown. And of course, the 49ers won the division last season in the NFC West with a 12-5 record. So when we look at those teams, when we see those 8 teams out there, guys, potentially what team could go from first to worst? From first to worst. And right off the bat, I'm going to eliminate the San Francisco 49ers. Even if the 49ers do not win the division, they're still a really, really good team. They still got the Arizona Cardinals. I was kind of starting to buy a little bit of hype of the Arizona Cardinals, potentially 7-8 wins on the very, very high scale of things, but the 49ers, they're at least a 10-win team. For 49ers, you are safe. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're safe. You have the Carolina Panthers. You're safe. You're safe. Dallas Cowboys, you're safe. Because let's just be honest, the Dallas Cowboys are a 13-win Super Bowl bound team, baby. Kansas City Chiefs, you are safe. You still have the Broncos. You still have the Chargers. 2 very, very bad teams in your division. Now, these other teams have issues. These other teams have issues. The first team that comes to mind is potentially the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans could potentially go from first to worst because they did have a breakout season last year. Many people said that the Baltimore Ravens kind of really overachieved last season. CJ Stroud played out of his mind. Didn't throw an interception until week 12. Rookie head coach DeMeco Ryans coached a hell of a season. And let's just be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. They had a very favorable schedule last season because they were worst team in the division the previous year in 2022. So they had a lot of favorable games this season. This year, they play a little bit of harder schedule. This year, sophomore slump is a thing for CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. Also, the Titans got better. The Colts got better. And the Jaguars potentially got better as well. And with that being said, with that division being so convoluted anyways, the Tennessee Titans got last place last year at 6-11, and the Texans got first place with 10-7. It's a very good possibility that the Houston Texans are last in that division this season. It would not shock me one bit if the Houston Texans only win 8 games this season and they're last in that division. I think the NFC or the AFC South is going to have a 10-8 wins. Everybody. So they slip up one game. They lose his first game versus the Indianapolis Colts week number 1. Last place is a very, very real thing. Next up is the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I know. Baltimore Ravens, I get it. You're just hating on Lamar. No. The simple fact of the matter is the Baltimore Ravens do kind of got a tough schedule. When we look at the Baltimore Ravens, they did win the division with 13 wins last season. However, Cincinnati Bengals came in the last place with 9 wins without Joe Burrow 50% of the season. Now, do I think the Ravens will get last place? I want to say no. I want to preface that right out the bat. But it's a very good possibility that they could go from first to worst. They get 9 wins, 10 wins. That could be last place in that division. And it's a very good possibility that they could only get 9, 10, 11 wins this season. They do have a very, very tough schedule. They do play the Chiefs. They do play the Cowboys, the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Eagles. They have a very, very tough schedule. Do I think they're going to get last place? No, but they have a good possibility of going from first to worst. And the one that's going to shock everybody, I think, is the Detroit Lions. I ultimately think the Detroit Lions have the second best opportunity to go from first to worst. Because when you look at the schedule last season, they kind of got lucky in a lot of games. Let's just be honest. They should have never been in that Dallas Cowboys game last season. Dan Campbell made some very questionable calls throughout that game. And they kind of just flew under the radar, I think, like a little bit last season, to be honest. ultimately finishing with 12 wins. This year, I think everybody's got them on their bullseye. I think everybody's like, Lions, you think you're going to run the NFC? Think again. Here's my beer. Hold it. You play the Rams. They play the Bucks. They play the Cowboys again. They play the Texans, a really good Texans team. Still think going to get last place, but a really good Texans team. 49ers, Colts. They have a tough game, or tough slate of games. So gun to my head, bullet in the chamber, cocked and loaded. First to worst, who am I picking? I'm picking the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans have a very, very real possibility of going from first to last. I think they are just not a very, they're a good team. They got better, but the hype around them is a little too high. A hype around them is Cleveland or is a Chicago Bear high. Y'all need to slow it down. So guys, team from first place last season. First place in the division last season to worse. What team is going to do it? Bullet to the head, gun to the head, I should say. Who do you guys think? Who do you guys think from first to worst? Next up on this overreaction Tuesday on a Thursday. Overreaction Tuesday on a Thursday. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. The Philadelphia Eagles. They play Friday. They play Friday versus the Green Bay Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles are a team that was really, really hot last season. Started off, 10-0, 11-0. Ended up not doing too hot toward the end of the season. I don't think coaching was the problem. I don't think the player personnel was the problem. I think they had some type of inner fighting. Somebody slept with somebody's girlfriend. Somebody come out gay. Something happened. Something happened in Philly the last 7 weeks of the season, and it basically turned their season upside down. So far this offseason, they've lost Fletcher Cox to retirement. They lost Jason Kelsey to retirement. Two very long-term players there for 12, 13 years, right? They've been in a Eagles uniform for a very, very long time. So on this overreaction Tuesday on a Thursday, guys, are the Philadelphia Eagles in a must-win situation come Friday night? Do the Philadelphia Eagles have to win Friday night? And when I look at this game, obviously, a win or loss on this record is not going to affect them long term. I think this game for them is kind of like the Chiefs and like Ravens game. Yeah, it is what it is, right? We might play the Packers in the playoffs, but we're going to be two totally different teams. But when I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason why I think this is a must-win game for them, I do not think this is overreaction. I think they have to win. I think they have to play well for the morale of the team. For the look at us, right? We're okay. Yeah, we kind of fell apart last season, but look at us now. We are good. Coaching is good. Jalen Hurts is listening. The offensive line is good. We're okay. I think this is the must win for the Philadelphia Eagles guys on Friday night. What do you guys think? Is it an overreaction or underreaction? Do the Philadelphia Eagles have to win Friday night? Do they have to win? Casey says, to be honest, teams just need to focus on being safe where they are playing. Which, listen, let's talk about this. Let's legit talk about this. If we are so worried about playing in a gang-affiliated area or whatever it is, whether it's bad water, the wildfires, or whatever is going on in Brazil, if we're so worried about it, why in the F are we playing there? Why are we playing? They could have very well canceled this game and moved it back to, I think it's Philly is the home team, right? They could have definitely moved it to Philly. If Philly couldn't have hosted, they could have hosted it at Green Bay. Nothing's going on in Green Bay, Wisconsin this time of year besides football. Let's just be honest. They did it in Mexico when the Rams and Chiefs were supposed to play in Mexico, and I believe they had a Taylor Swift concert like the night before, and the field was all tore up. Like, Rams, you are hosting. If we're so worried about it, why are we playing there? I think it's stupid anyways, but why are we playing there? Chuck says, pray the Eagles put up $1 million up on the slackers. Chuck must be an Eagles fan. Overreaction or underreaction, guys? Are the Philadelphia Eagles in a must-win situation come week number 1? It's kind of weird, right? Week 1 must-win? I think it's a must-win. I think for them, it is a must-win. Is it a must-win for the Baltimore Ravens? I think so. But, guys, that is going to be it for today. We do got some game picks in the chat below, guys. Let me know. Are you taking the Baltimore Ravens? Or are you taking the Kansas City Chiefs? Who are you picking in tonight's game? Give me a heart emoji if it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me a shocked emoji if the Baltimore Ravens. Let me know. James says, slow it down, baby. Chuck is a Cowboys fan. Cowboys-Brown fan. Okay. WBN says, LOL, same slackers beat the Cowgirls. I don't know. That's last season. Let's worry about this season. Ravens versus Chiefs. Who do you guys got? I am picking the Kansas City Chiefs. 21-10. Until tomorrow, guys, I'm out.